Hello, this is actually future Neve. This is like a week after I recorded this video. I was meant to edit this video while I was on holiday, so that is why it hasn't been uploaded yet, but it's been recorded for like a week because I got on the plane and I was like, okay, I'm ready to edit my video, and I realized I did not record an intro. I just completely forgot to record an intro, which is really weird because I usually do that first. That's the first thing I do. So, hello everyone, welcome to this video. I'm just going to give you some warnings about this video. Number one, it's going to be really long. It's coming up on like half an hour. Number two, I was really sick when I was making this video, but I don't want to re-record it because I have a lot of energy in that video. And if I do it again, I don't know, I might not be able to capture the same energy. Just enjoy the video. This was my first ever download festival. This is my experiences at the festival, parts that I enjoyed, parts that I didn't enjoy so much because there were a few points at the festival which I really did not like. Nothing to do with the music, but if you were at Download Fest you probably know what I'm about to talk about. This was my first festival, had a great time, and I hope you guys enjoy today's video. So the first band that we actually saw, which started our whole weekend, was a band called Ginger, and they are a Ukrainian metal band, and I've known about them for a little while. I've listened to a couple of their songs, but I was never really like into them because I just never listened to them. Now, definitely a fan. I mean, that live set was insanely good. I mean, the consistency throughout the whole set as well, like the energy was just flowing all the way through from start to end. We were quite far back, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to be a bit closer, but this was the first day and it wasn't even that hot to begin with. But Ginger, really great, loved their set. The next one we saw was one that we got really close for. I mean, we were basically one row away from the barricade. Like, we were very, very close because I wanted to be very, very close, and that was for Pussifer, which is one of the projects featuring Maynard James Keenan from Tool. I had, surprisingly, Tool being my favourite band, I'd never really listened to any of his other side projects. I've not listened to Pussifer that much. I've not listened to A Perfect Circle. It's mad, but it's true. I went into this set blind. I didn't know any of their songs, but I was very impressed. I mean, it was like watching a theatre. Like, they had these aliens dancing around on the stage and they had these guys all dressed up in white. It was like, it was mad. They were like playing a part and it was so freaky, but it was so cool. I loved it, and now I've gone back and I've listened to a lot of their stuff and I really enjoy it. So Pussifer were very, very fun. I really enjoyed that one. Okay, the next one, I think Yoan was very excited for this one, and to be honest, I was too. This was when, you know, the mosh pits were gonna get started and we were really close to the front. We weren't like in the middle, like dead center of the stage. We were just off to the right hand side. So it took me a minute there. We were off to the right hand side of the stage, so I thought, okay, we'd be kind of safe here because we're still close, but we're not in the middle. Skindred was the next band, and if you don't know who Skindred are, they are amazing. I really enjoyed their set. They are a reggae metal band, kind of formed in that like kind of early 2000s, almost nu metal kind of sounding alternative metal. It's really good, kind of like right up my alley kind of music. And again, not really listened to them that much, but oh my gosh, their set was insane. Like, just from the beginning, everyone was jumping and pushing, and the thing is, I'm really not accustomed to mosh pits. I am okay with standing. I love watching it though, but Yoan is the complete opposite. Yoan loves to be like in the pit, like loves to be involved with the whole scene, so I was just kind of like watching him just going around. It was really fun. But their set was insane. I mean, he knows how to wrangle up a crowd and get everyone hyped up and get everyone going. Being a great front man, you know, being able to like take parts of your music, being like, and I say this and you say that, and even when you don't know the songs, you feel involved and it doesn't make you feel isolated from everyone else who knows all the music, you know. So I really enjoyed that. That was Skindred. They were a very, very fun band. Really enjoyed that one. What closed the night? Metallica. So this was my third time seeing them and they were insanely good. I mean, that set list on that first night was crazy. I mean, they pulled out Leper Messiah from Master of Puppets. That is such a great tune. They played the whole of Orion, The last 2 times I've seen them, they've played like sections from Orion. It was so good. I went mad for it. Oh, they were just amazing. They were just great. I don't really have much more to say on that one. I will have to talk a bit more later because they did play a second set. I had heard songs that I hadn't heard them play before, and it was just really fun. Again, they know how to get the crowd going, get everyone excited, and that's what you want from a band. You want to feel involved in the music and all that kind of stuff. Very fun, very enjoyable. Fun first day, went back, went to sleep, ready for the next one. So, day 2. Woo! Day 2! It's just the Friday. Again, we didn't really see that many bands today, as much as I would like, because we did oversleep a little bit. There were a few bands that we wanted to see that were, like, opening up, you know, in the morning. Like, they were first on the stage, because there were 4 stages. There were a couple that we wanted to see on the smaller stages, but we just overslept and just thought, screw it, whatever. So the first band we ended up seeing that day was a band called Epica, one that I've discovered, and I think maybe a lot of the prog fans out there, such as myself as well, but a lot of you guys might know who they are. They're almost like an operatic metal band. I mean, they were awesome, like, they were great. Unfortunately, this was when the heat started to kick in. I'm not very good with heat, and I can get heat stroke very, very easily. But obviously, this is for the festival. I'm powering through, and I'm lathering myself up in sun cream like every 20 minutes. It's mad. I didn't get burnt though, so there we go. But yeah, Epica, they were really great. Again, didn't really know many of their songs, but they were insanely good. So definitely really enjoyed that one. And you know, for all the prog fans out there, if you don't know them, definitely check them out because they were awesome. They were great. Really, really enjoyed that combination. I really like it. After that, I think we went back to our tent for a bit because we were dying in the heat. I mean, it sounds really awful because we just physically couldn't. And you'll notice this kind of pattern throughout, but there wasn't really anything that we were interested in until the evening time, which is when Evanescence came on, and they were so good. I have loved Evanescence since I was a kid. I was always ashamed to say that I liked Evanescence because everyone's like, oh my god, that one emo band, and wake me up inside, you know. Yeah, they are that one band, but they have some other really, really, really good songs. And live, seeing them live is maybe more of a fan of them, to be honest. They were so good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Amy Lee's voice is so good. I mean, it held up throughout the entire set. And hearing the crowd, like, all sing together, that last song was just mad. Like, everyone just got so into it because you cannot deny that is kind of a good song. So, you know, everyone's going to start unsubscribing now, but I love that song to this day, just for the nostalgia. They have some other really great songs as well. And the closer for that night was Bring Me the Horizon. Now, I'm going to talk about this because I don't know if I've talked about this on the channel before. When I was in secondary school, Bring Me the Horizon were my favourite band. They were like, I mean, Sempiternal was like is like the album of my secondary school life. That just like kind of sums it up. I knew the album back to front. Like, I'd listen to it all the time. And a lot of their earlier stuff, like There Is a Hell and Suicide Season, and even like Pray for Plagues at times. That was like their first proper like intense record. That was like heavy shit, especially for the time it came out. But they pulled out some great songs. They didn't play as much of the kind of earlier stuff as I wished, because I know they don't do that really anymore. But the songs they did play were really, really good. I really enjoyed it. They played stuff from the album that came after Subternal as well, That's the Spirit, which I actually do really enjoy that record anyway. They played some good stuff. I mean, it was actually just a really great show. I left that thinking, you know what? I'm gonna start listening to Bring Me the Horizon again because I forgot how good they were. So I was like, what? So this is where it starts to kind of take a turn for the worse, not musically, but the conditions of the festival. I don't think that the actual organizers knew, or maybe they did, but they just underestimated it, how hot it was going to be that weekend. It got up to like 30 degrees on this site, right? And it did not feel like 30 degrees. It felt like double that. It was boiling hot. It was horrible. It felt like I was wearing makeup that day. I don't wear that much, but I was wearing eyeliner. It was so hot that it was melting off my face. It was it was awful. And I had only brought like long shorts, so I was I'm black t-shirts, so I was dying. And I would wear my battle vest every day, which added another layer of sweat and heat. I'm very sad but due to how hot it was, I couldn't see a lot of the bands that I actually wanted to see, because there are a few, like, there was Municipal Waste, then Carcass, there was two, like, metal bands I really wanted to see, but it was so hot, you could not stand outside. Like, I was so upset, because I would dose myself in sun cream, go out, and I just couldn't, like, I couldn't stand in that crowd. Like, there was no shade at all. Like, the only shade that you could really get was if you went in the tents that had the smaller stages. One of them was actually air conditioned, and a lot of people realized that and all fled to that tent. But this was like middle of the day, and I was so upset because I wanted to see these bands really badly, and while we could only hear them really while we were looking for shade. And the only other bits of shade, if the tent was full, the only other shade that you would get is like the sun reflecting on the big sound towers and the shadow being cast off it. But everyone was under those. So if you didn't sit there, or if you just couldn't find any shade, you were kind of screwed. You just had to kind of deal with it, which we had to do at one point because there was just no space anywhere to sit. And the water fountains, there were nowhere near enough water fountains for the amount of people and just for the heat itself. The queues for the water taps, me and Yoan would stand there for like 25 minutes just to fill up a water bottle. Like, it was mad. A lot of the taps just stopped working at some point, and they were just like dripping. Like, there wasn't like a good flow of water. It was just little drips. So you'd be having to wait for like everyone's bottles to get filled by these little drips of like basically like rain filling up something. I will say that is just really not good. There was not enough shade, not enough water, and if you didn't have a water bottle, or if you didn't want to wait in the half-an-hour queue for the taps, the only other option would be to buy water or buy a cold drink. And you know what? I ended up having to do that, which I kind of told myself I didn't want to, because festival food and drink is always just stupidly expensive. And I knew it was going to be stupidly expensive, but I didn't realize how stupidly expensive it was going to be. It was unreal. The prices were just terrible. I mean, I remember I got food because I was really hungry one morning. It was like a wrap from a vegan chicken place. It was so small, and I got one of those cans of water, and it cost me almost 15 quid for a small wrap and a tin of water. We had to do that at one point, me and Yo, and we were just like, we don't want to wait in this queue, so we ended up buying these little cans of water. I will say I liked the names of the cans of water. It was called Liquid Death, and I thought that everyone was carrying around beer, but it was just water. I thought it was kind of funny. These cans cost like £3 a piece. Anyway, I will stop ranting about that. But yeah, the heat was so bad that I ended up having to miss a few of the acts, which was kind of unfortunate. I remember it got to about maybe mid-afternoon, maybe like 3 o'clock, when it actually started, like the sun was starting to go down, it was starting to cool down a bit, and there was a bit of a breeze. I ended up falling asleep on the grass for like an hour because I was exhausted from this heat. It was mad. It was insane. Like, I don't understand. Like, anyway, let's talk about who we saw on that day. So I've got my t-shirt here because I kept having to stop the camera to look at the set list. So I'll show you. This is the t-shirt I got from the festival. Got the acts on the back, so I don't need to keep turning off my recording. It's starting to annoy me because then I can't put my phone in the right place again. I really wanted to catch Motionless in White. That was one I wanted to see because another childhood band. I'd seen them live before. They are pretty good in my opinion, but the clash with Clutch, who are like a kind of stonery metal band, they were very good. Clutch, I will say, unfortunately I did fall asleep during their set because of the heat, which I'm kind of sad about. So we had a very difficult decision this day. So the original plan was who do we see? Do we see Placebo or do we see Coheed and Cambria? Because Coheed and Cambria are kind of like a prog metal band, whereas Placebo are one of those 90s, I think, alternative rock band. I was intrigued because I'm kind of into the 90s music at the moment, so I was like, I'm intrigued about this. We didn't end up seeing either of them. We wanted to get a really good spot for Metallica night 2. We did see Disturbed though. That was one, I think they came before Placebo, but they were still on the main stage. Disturbed was so good that, ooh, ah, ah, you know, that one. They were freaking insane. They were so good. I didn't expect them to be that good live. I don't know why. I really enjoyed it though. I know Young got in the mosh pit for Down With The Sickness. And they have a really good cover of Sound Asylum. And then obviously Metallica came on later. And that, it hits so much more being so close to the stage. I mean, we were close. We were close. Like, I could see them walking. I could see them, and it wasn't little tiny dots. I could actually see the action on the stage, you know, and the chemistry and stuff like that. So, you know, seeing one of my favorite bands from my little childhood right up close, I didn't expect I would ever do that because it's Metallica, and I thought, oh my god, everyone's gonna want to rush to the front, and we got a spot like an hour before they came on. Set 2 was so good. I mean, they whipped out Whiskey in the Jar. That's I'm just gonna say that, and that was a highlight of the evening. I didn't realize they were gonna pull that one out just because I was thought we're not in Ireland, so why would they do that? Obviously, they had the classics, you know, One and Sandman and stuff like that, which are really good. But they played Battery, which is the first song from Master of Puppets. You know, they were just whipping out all the bangers this weekend. I mean, it was such a treat. They were such a treat this weekend. I mean, I was hearing songs by them, I was like, oh my god, they're playing this one. You know, they played Creeping Death, I think, but that was on the first night. That was so good. They also played Wherever I May Roam, which I'm not sure if I've actually heard them play that live the times I've seen them. They did play on this second set. They did play a lot from their latest album, which I've got a little poster here. I've actually got it right here in front of me. If you don't know it already, it's 72 Seasons. I should have pre-listened to the album a bit more, but I didn't. They played quite a lot of that on this set list. They did play some from on the first night, but the second night I think there was a lot more. And they finished the concert with these like massive fireworks. It was so great. I loved it so much. I loved turning around. I remember there was a massive mosh pit forming behind me for Enter Sandman, and I remember Yoan running into it. But it was huge. I mean, it was widening and widening, and I was like, oh my god, am I gonna get caught up in this? And now let's talk about the final day, which it was very unfortunate because we had bands that we wanted to see that were opening up on the main stage. So they were like the first on at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Midday, swelteringly hot. The first group we saw was Bloodywood, which are a band that fuse Indian music with metal, which is so sick. It's so good. Really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, I was leaned up against the sound tower with the shadow going down it, so I couldn't really see them, which is a bit unfortunate. They were really great. And then after them we saw Lorna Shore, which Young wasn't as into as I was, but I thought their set was really great. I seem to remember after we saw Bloodywood we went to one of the tents and we were sitting in there for ages. I think we missed the beginning of Lorna Shore's set. I wanted to catch the end. And then after them was a band called The Who, not to be confused with That Who. HU, they're a Mongolian band. Again, a band that fuses Mongolian throat singing with metal, which is like, that's like so sick, that's so cool. They were really good. After them, so this was probably one of the only days where we didn't go back to our tent at all during the day, because I wanted to see Parkway Drive, which are a band that I've seen them live before, and I forgot how good they are. If you don't know who Parkway Drive are, they're an Australian metal band, and they are so good. I mean, live as well. They are sick. They've got pyro, they've got everything. The music is so good. And I forgot how good they were as a live band, and just I forgot how good their music was in general. So it was really good kind of catching up with them and like seeing what their new material is like and hearing some of the old stuff I was really into, and you know, it was really good. I think Johan really enjoyed that one as well, which is good because that's like another childhood one for me as well. And then we saw Ghost. Now, don't shoot me, I knew like none of their songs. I know 2 of their songs. One of them I know really well because it was on like my repeat for ages. And I had seen Ghost before. I saw them when they were a support band for Metallica a few years ago. And they played a song called Square Hammer, which I really enjoyed. So I went and I listened to it like so much after that concert. And Mary on a Cross, that's like the one that everyone knows. So I felt like a bit of a fake fan. I wasn't really a fan because I just didn't really know any of their songs, but I really enjoyed their set. Unfortunately, we were quite far back, so we couldn't really see them that well, but they were really good. And you know, when they were playing the songs that I knew, I was kind of up and I was singing, and yeah, they were really cool. Really enjoyed that one. I know a lot of people have their weird opinions on Ghost. And the last act of the festival.
At the craziest motherfuckers in download right here in the fucking middle. I want you to take a good look.
The one that I was looking forward to the most, and I'm going to go off on how much I enjoyed this set, it was Slipknot, and it was so worth baking up in that sun to see Slipknot because their set was unreal. I mean, they were playing old stuff, like old stuff. I said to Johan before we went, when he was like, hey, what Slipknot should I listen to before the gig? And I was like, well, I recommend listening to their first album. They're probably not going to play anything from it because they don't play anything from their first couple of albums really that much anymore. I remember, I think I almost cried. I started laughing because I was like, this is not happening, this is not real. I think there were a couple of songs in and they played Liberate. They played Liberate, and if you are a Slipknot fan, you will understand. That intro, I remember hearing it and I just went, oh, what the hell? Like, I had no idea they were going to play this. And then they played Eyeless, and then they played Purity, and then oh my god, they were bringing out all of the bangers. It's almost like they knew I was there. And they played Snuff, which is one of their ballads from an album called All Hope Is Gone. A very beautiful song. And they played that one. That was like the tearjerker. Obviously they played this, you know, Psychosocial, Devil and I. They were just I remember leaving that concert and I was like, what? They played Left Behind as well. They did that thing where they extend Spit It Out as well, where like where Corey Taylor gets everyone hyped, they spin around in a circle and everyone's getting back down on the floor and then they go jump up in the air. It was insane. I remember leaving that, I was like, I don't want this to end. I was thinking about it now, it gives me the biggest grin on my face. I'm like, they played Liberate. Anyway, I'm gonna start getting sad now thinking about how, you know, if I ever saw Slipknot again, they probably won't play it, but that was just the best conclusion to my weekend. That's my rundown of the weekend. I'm sorry I got just so overexcited about Slipknot that I put all my energy on that. Thank you for watching. This has been a very long video. If you want me to make more videos like this, let me know. I actually have got another festival coming up in a couple of months. It's going to Bloodstock with Johan and one of our friends, which will be very exciting. If you went to download, let me know. And let me know if you also suffered in the heat, because I don't want to sound like I'm being cranky and being overdramatic, because it was boiling hot. Kind of puts you off, you know? Anyway, have a good one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.